Alright, on today's fight week, you can say, we have one of the most shittiest fight week card that we had in a while, which is Moicano versus Duncan. Of course, this really could have been a prelim undercard under any UFC number event, but as a fight night, also the same thing. It could have been a co-main event. That's not the topic we're going to be discussing about. We're going to be discussing about construction fighters tends to have the best base in MMA. We've noticed the guys with DJ, Merab, Alexander Volkanovski, and we noticed with these two fighters that came from construction sites or were construction workers were Ethan and Wellmaker. These two just, had their last fight a couple months ago. And funny enough, they both literally got off work just to get on a fight. And the reason why I'm making this video is because Ethan is fighting this weekend against Rafael Estavam. And of course, I wanted to make a video because, why not? It's just a video about construction workers, and they tend to have great things going on in their life, which is becoming great things in MMA. DJ went on to dominate the flyweight division and went on to defend his title 11 times. Volkanovski, of course, became the GOAT for the featherweight division. Defended his title 5 times technically. Merab, of course, he's one of the best and one of the greatest bantamweight fighters of all time. Top 2, if we're being real. Having three title defense in 1 year. It was aiming to go for a 4th one. No champion ever done that except him. I mean, there were probably one exception, but most of the time is always fighters unranked doing 4 times a year, but not a champion. Usually it's always 3 title defense in 1 year, but even then pushing 3 is already doing too much. Of course, we've seen these two prospects, Wellmaker and Ethan. These two are prospects at 135. And who knows, they might do some great things. Now, of course, there's some fighters that do come into UFC from construction, and from construction side, and most of the time they don't really have success with the likes of probably Dominic Reyes, if I'm being honest. And I think there's more fighters, but what I've seemed to notice is most of the times the great ones, the ones that actually perform, that actually do great things, are mostly from construction. Of course, there's some that come from poverty, there's some that come from wealth, there's some that come from medical field, there's some that come from many things, But what I've noticed is the fact that construction teams seems to always bring out more of the, elite fighters, which I named a good amount of them. Michael Bisping is also one of them too. Of course, he's not great, but he is one of English greatest MMA fighters of all time. You can say that. And of course, Ethan's fighting this weekend. But of course, I'm not gonna sugar it. I'm not gonna be one of those guys that just sucks them up and be like, oh yeah, just because they're doing this and that, they're gonna win this fight for sure. No, I just don't. I'm not like that. I think he's gonna lose this fight, not because he's biting. What's that phrase again? Biting more than you can chew, I guess. I don't know how to say that phrase, but what I've noticed with his fights in the regional scene, and I'm comparing these two fighters, Rafael and Ethan. Rafael is undefeated, but most of his work is at 125, which are against smaller guys. He tends to bully them, and everybody tends to say, hey, he's a bit too tall and too big for this division, ain't he? And it's kind of true. And he's able to work them and kind of, manhandle them because, of course, he's bigger than them. Now he's moving up a division of 135, and he's going to fight somebody who's like the same size as his, you can say. But of course, size don't matter in MMA when you two guys are, you can say, with JDM and Islam, where Islam, they say JDM was big. Oh, he's huge. He's bigger than Islam. He's going to fight somebody his size for the first time. It's going to be a war. It's going to be a tough fight for him. But then Islam was able to manhandle him just due to his pure skills alone. So this is where I'm gonna bring the subject back to what I was saying. Ethan doesn't have great ground game, is what I've noticed on the regional scene. He only lost twice, and funny enough, he lost twice. He lost his first 2 fights, which Merab lost his 2 fights in the UFC. JDM lost his 2 fights in his whole fighting career, which they went on to, get a crazy win streak. Am I going to say the same thing for Ethan? Well, what I was talking about earlier about, construction seems to bring out the best fighters. There could be the possibility. But there's one weakness with Ethan, and that's the ground game. Rafael, even though he's been bullying the small guys, he does have a good grappling system in his arsenal, which is pretty good jiu-jitsu and pretty decent takedown entries. Ethan, on the other hand, he was getting out grappled by a guy who was 5-3 in his entire career before he got a knockout. Yes, he got the knockout, but again, he was getting out grappled. He was getting a little work on. Rafael, I don't think he's gonna be the guy who just stands still. He's gonna be one who's gonna be moving and trying to take the fight to the ground. If he knows on the feet, he is not gonna try and play on the feet. I don't think he's gonna be too dumb to play on the feet with Ethan. So he's gonna try and play on the ground. And of course, Ethan doesn't show that great takedown defense. And we don't even know if he's still busy with construction. Because again, construction does take a lot of time out of your day. And with Ethan, we don't know if he's gotten that amount of time. We don't know what his preparation is. Well, I haven't seen his media day, so obviously I don't even know. But it's one where I say that skill-wise, I don't think this is going to be a good fight for Ethan skill-wise. Size-wise, this could be even. Who knows? But I really can say that I got Rafael by decision, if I'm being honest. By decision. Not gonna be a dominant. It's not gonna be a dominant decision, but it's gonna be like a competitive fight. But I'm gonna edge it for Rafael because Ethan did lost his fight with a heel hook, and the way he been trying to defend his takedowns, it doesn't look that great or appealing, you say. It's more of trying to manhandle your way out of getting taken down. It's the best I can describe. So I got the fight by decision for Rafael. Of course, I want these words to be. I want to eat my words and hope that Ethan pulls this bitch off. But reality is, I don't really see this fighting do well for Ethan whatsoever. This might be where the construction base fully goes expired. We already seen it with Wellmaker. We're gonna see it with Ethan now. Yeah. But anyway, this is gonna be my main event, if I'm being honest. I really don't barely care. Oh wait, well, Mr. Beast is fighting on the main card too, so that's a good thing. But other than that, yeah, that's my thoughts. But of course, I'll talk about more Conor versus Duncan probably later on the week. Not right now. I just want to get this video off my chest. I've been thinking about it all day.